Matt Kobaluk has his trophy, but we're not done yet. NASCAR's Whelen All-American Series races at tracks all across America, and Toyota Speedway at Irwindale is one of the linchpin tracks of that series. They run super late models, and other classes here. As part of a series that recently celebrated its championship in Las Vegas, Philip Morris from Virginia crowned the champion, and there are where the tracks in the Whelen All-American Series are located. They dot the country from east to west.
You notice there's one over
Yeah.
there on the left side of our screen above the United States, and that's in Canada. Whelen does so much for our sport here at the grassroots level.
Really do. Whelen caution lights all around the Speedway. Did you hear the pop they got during the inauguration festivities from Brian Williams of NBC? Talking about those made in America Whelen caution lights on all of the support vehicles in Washington. So the late models here that run at Irwindale are just one of the many, many racing classes that make up the Whelen All-American Series. Now, the Speedway and NASCAR did, I think, a really great thing today. Everything's been washed out up until today. There's been a little bit of practice, but not much for some of the cars until this afternoon. The procedure in the entry blank, which governs how this race is run, said that if qualifying was washed out, the draw for qualifying would determine which 40 cars would start the race. And that left some folks really disappointed who really wanted to race. So the Speedway and NASCAR said, let them all race. After checking with timing and scoring to make sure the scoring software could handle 47 cars, and it can handle 80-some, more than that. They decided to let them all race. So 47 cars will start this race, which is scheduled for 75 laps. Most of the drivers are from California, a couple from Nevada or Arizona, but we'll show you how they'll line up.
And remember, no qualifying, so this is just how they drew to go out for qualifying, and Bobby Hodges in the 88 car will end up with the pole.
Most of these are local drivers, as we point out. Not necessarily familiar names, but they have a lot of laps around this speedway. And you've seen some of them in NASCAR's Southwest Tour, or perhaps even a rare start or two in the Camping World West Series. And we're now told the field is going to be 48. There were initially 50 entries for this event.
You know, the track champion here, Tim Huddleston, was not in the top 40 draws for qualifying. So if they would have stuck with the top 40 only making this race, our track champion here would not have made this race.
Yeah. Sean Woodside, he's a former West Series regular.
Andrew Myers just got through running the 77 car in the Camping World race. He starts back in the 31st position.
And there's Tim Huddleston, who, as you said, wouldn't have made the top 20. But 48 cars are going to start. The 48th, Terry Henry, added to the field, and we're ready to go for 75 laps. Now, also, since during the initial pre-deluge schedule, this event was going to go off first, the entry blank does say 75 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first.
As you can see, 75 laps, 37.5 miles. Our time limit, as you mentioned, Mike, is 40 minutes. Pit road speed will be 25 miles per hour. And again, these guys will not stop. I mean, to make pit stops, typically they will not be able to change any tires, I don't think, on a normal pit stop. Only if they have some trouble will they come down pit road.
And this will be wild because the starting lineup is determined by draw, without regard to who are the fast cars, who are the slow cars, who likes to run the top, who likes to run the bottom. None of that comes into play here. It's going to be a land rush for turn one.
Absolutely, a total crapshoot here for position. I want to keep my eye on Tim Huddleston back there. It's back in there in the 42nd position. you know he's going to be a strong competitor, and he has so much traffic to get by. Obviously starting 42nd, so he has to pass 41 cars, and there's 75 laps, so he's got to average more than one car every 2 laps.
Couple more pace laps and we'll be ready to go. 75 laps for the Irwindale Speedway late models coming at you next.